Hi everyone, Carl here, calling in not from the peninsula, but actually we are in Fife, sort of at our other base of operations, so to speak, and I'm here with John, and we're standing in a field which he's going to tell you a little bit more about. Did you want to introduce yourself and explain kind of what you do for us?
Yes, thanks Carol. Hi, my name's John Hutcheson and I'm farming here at Broomhall and Leckerstone. I'm a third generation farmer growing a range of arable crops, and as Carol mentioned, we are standing here in a crop of spring-sown barley. The variety is Laureate, and it's grown specifically to supply to you guys for your whiskey.
Amazing. And you can see, yeah, there's just kind of barley all around us right now, so it's a lovely Wednesday morning for us out here in the field. In terms of what the process is and how this goes, could you explain a little bit about harvest and crop rotation and kind of the operations of the farm that you oversee day to day?
Sure, of course. So as I mentioned, we grow a range of arable crops here, and these are rotated round all of the fields. And generally, barley fits in the rotation after wheat. So wheat is still the main crop on this farm. Much of it goes for distilling, still into the drinks industry. And we will, wheat will usually be sown after a break crop, which is usually oilseed rape or beans or oats. And then we'll have wheat, and then we will have spring barley. And spring barley sown in the spring, usually any time between March and the end of April. This year, slightly later spring, worse weather, so we didn't get this crop sown until the middle of April. And here we are standing in this crop, which is probably 2 to 3 weeks away from harvest. We'd expect to be in here the first week in September to harvest it with a standard combine harvester that's used for all of our arable crops.
Amazing, amazing. And in terms of some of the qualitative efforts we do to ensure that we're doing things the right way, I know we work with a scheme called SQC. Would you mind explaining a little bit more about how we operate within that?
Sure. So SQC stands for Scottish Quality Crops, and this is the assurance scheme that is used for all arable crops in Scotland. It's specific to Scotland. It was actually developed for the drinks industry, mainly for the whisky industry, and it covers a range of protocols for growing the crop, and they mainly relate to food safety, storage, with some environmental protocols as well. And the basis for crop safety is to ensure that we're applying our inputs safely and correctly, and there's a bit of legislation that sits behind that. We do use crop protection products to protect the crop against weed ingress and fungal disease, and it's important within the SQC protocols that these are done with a sprayer that's been maintained and calibrated evenly, driven by an operator that's been properly trained, and that we are using these crop protection products legally and safely, and that we're not using any old products that have been revoked. So that forms the basis of our standards. There are also important storage standards, so crops have to be monitored and stored through the storage season, and typically this barley will be stored for you guys right through till June or July, although I think you start using it sometime in January, but the point is it's stored for a period of time. And storage protocols include measuring temperature to make sure that the crop is not overheating and that we can maintain germination, which is very important, and that forms one of the important parts of the SQC scheme. Together with rodent control, we have to make sure that we are controlling any potential rodent ingress by having bait boxes and recording all that. That we're applying fertilizer safely and evenly, that we have a crop protection management plan, that we're not applying products in a way that would damage the environment, that we're only applying these products for a certain target and not just applying them prophylactically. So the scheme is really quite robust and consists of an annual audit each year on farm to make sure that these protocols are being followed.
So all of that you were talking about with SQC, of course, is feeding into trying to create a quality crop, and for our purposes with Ardnamurchan, you know, the best quality barley that we can put into the whiskey as the chief input, of course. And you were talking to me just now about a really cool concept and something that's starting to flow around the industry called natural capital, and sort of the landscape that Broomhall and our farms tend to sit in. Would you mind telling the audience a little bit more about that?
Sure, Carl. Yes.
Thanks.
So natural capital is really a measure of the amount of environmental enhancement that a particular farm has, and a lot of our farms, which are mainly arable, may have hedges, may have woodland areas, may have areas of non-crop land, and it tends to vary from farm to farm. Broomhall is really quite unique in that we have a large amount of natural capital. We have quite a large proportion of our area in woodland, it's about 30%. We have many kilometres of hedgerow. We have relatively small fields with lots of little corners of non-cropping area, and that leads to a large area of habitat for various species. We have recently had a bird survey carried out, and we counted 20 separate bird species that are living here at Broomhall, which is really quite amazing. So Broomhall is unique in that we do have this landscape that does not consist of 100% crop land. We have a large proportion of the area under high biodiversity uses, and hopefully that helps create a system that's more sustainable in terms of land use.
Amazing, amazing. Well, I think that kind of covers it. It's a pleasure to be here out in the fields, and you know, we in the sales team have been lucky enough to be both on the peninsula and now here in Fife, where the barley is grown. So thank you very much, John, for your time, for all the information, and looking forward to getting back out here soon. But I think that'll do it for now. So bye all. Cheers.
Great. Thank you. Bye.